right, so Aspentech's mission is a dual challenge, and is meeting the growing demand for resources from a growing population with an increasing standard of living, because we all want to have a better standard of living, but while also delivering on those sustainability ambitions. Now, this mission, in a way, would have been challenged only 12 months ago, but because of events over the last 12 months, geopolitics and conflicts, the meeting the demand for resources, fuels, chemicals, is no longer a challenge. Is clearly there's clearly a recognition that there is a transition that has to be managed, and it has to be managed in an orderly fashion. So if you look at the demographics, by 2050, we're going to go from 8 billion people to 9.7 billion people. A couple of months ago, we celebrated the 8th billion human being born on this planet. That will require significant amount of resources to be produced, and demand for products that deliver that quality standard of living. Global energy demand is supposed to increase by 50% by 2050. If we're going to achieve sustainability goals, 75% of that growth in energy has to come from electricity, and 90% of that has to come from renewables, making the grid an incredibly complex asset to manage. So the expansion of the grid, the complexity of the grid, cyber securing the grid, significant challenge. Chemicals demand is expected to grow by 300% by 2050. So that continued production of those basic chemicals and plastics that sort of are the basic components of everything that we touch on our daily lives. Globals for metals for electrification are supposed to increase by 600% by 2035. So the digitalization of the mining industry in order to accelerate the production of these metals, and then access to medicine. 25% of the global population today doesn't have any access to medicine. So what this means, though, is that assets that exist today have to be operated in a more efficient manner, in a more flexible manner, and we need to have greater insights in order to be able to drive the performance of these assets going forward. Alan Pietri, talking to him at the table just before I came up, he said, yeah, we need to continue to sweat the asset. That perennial phrase in the process industries, where we need to continue to drive optimization in asset-intensive industries in order to make these assets more efficient, more profitable, and therefore more sustainable. And this is where the conversation has completely changed with our customers over the last 12 to 24 months. It's not only about resiliency and profitability in the assets, but it's also about sustainability. And the important thing to understand is that the physics and the chemistry that rules hydrocarbons also rules renewables. Hydrogen, carbon capture and sequestration, biofuels, is the same chemistry and the same physics, and the same products can be applied to these to these new processes in order to make them more efficient in the design, more efficient in operations, and eventually also manage the supply chain. And this is where Aspentech is now focused on driving the same capabilities that were developed using first principles of engineering, certainly inserting artificial intelligence capabilities to enhance the quality of the models and the predictive capabilities of these technologies, but continue to drive the performance of assets that not only drive and produce the products and drive the profitability that your organizations expect, but also make you more sustainable. Last week, I traveled across Europe, and of course, Europe is leading the charge on sustainability, met 5 different CEOs during my time in Europe. And it's interesting in that sustainability is not a one-size-fits-all for everyone. Everyone has a different approach and a different strategy to sustainability, depending on what they see is the opportunity, what they see are the skills that they have in their organizations to drive towards a more sustainable future. Refining organizations that are going completely into biofuels and building complete renewables businesses on the back of the expertise that they developed in refining organizations. And at the same time, the business unit in the same company is going all in to produce more oil and gas because energy security is now more important. And then you have the chemicals business unit that is focused on not only how do we drive our chemical plants to be more efficient, but how do we make the supply chain more sustainable as well. But ultimately, it's the same conversation. It's around digitalization and how does digitalization continues to drive operational excellence in organizations to become more resilient, more profitable, and more sustainable. And fundamentally, we don't believe that there's any trade-off between running your assets in the most efficient manner and the most profitable manner and being more sustainable. Today, Aspentech is driving capabilities in our products and enhancing the capabilities of our products as well to drive sustainability. And as a result, we have a whole new set of customers. Tesla is now a customer of Aspen Technology using our engineering solutions to model their electrical batteries, but also the recycling of electrical batteries, because that's one way to attack the problem of metals for electrification. Google is using our engineering software to model their direct air capture systems because they're using the heat generated by the data server farms to power DAC systems, direct air capture systems, to extract CO2 from the atmosphere, but also many other startups that are focusing on the recycling of electrical batteries as well. So it's a transition. It's a transition that will take many years, but certainly one that had started, and Aspentech expects to continue to be your partner in this journey from hydrocarbons into a more renewable future. Thank you.